Hello and welcome to another video. Today's video is a follow-up to the work in progress builds video from a couple weeks ago. And this video is actually helping me to get ready for the next installment in that series, as I need to kind of clear off space on this table so that I can show off the other work in progress stuff I've been working on. With this one, this is the, I looked it up. I think I was calling it the wrong thing previously. It's called the Imperial Patrol Speeder, parentheses, Repulsor Tank. Because, yeah, this thing is way bigger than a speeder, at least in all of other Star Wars content. Here is a minifigure that should show off how big this thing is. So this doesn't necessarily fit into the vibe, I think, as well for trying to be a Lego set that they would have designed back in like the early 2000s. But I do think this covers the general gist that this vehicle is supposed to be, so I'm letting it slide. There's a few other changes I had to make in order to justify certain designs. The big one right now is this cone piece is that new inverted one that has a bar sticking out the other side. I figured that'd just be easier. You could technically replicate this same thing with a normal rod and a normal cone, but in my experience with my parts, since they're on the older side, the cone would like to get stuck on the bar and it'll take ages to get it to loosen up and come off. So I decided to just cheat for that part. Another part usage, I kind of cheated and we'll have to figure out a workaround. Well, I have figured out a workaround. It's basically, instead of using a flick fire missile, if this thing would focus on this, instead of using flick fire, I am using just a 4 long rod and a pin. And it's basically the same thing as a flick fire missile. I'm gonna be lazy and not put that back on. Other things I've cheated on, I guess, is these rounded bricks and this. I will need to find an alternative for that if I want to have this go into my classic style stuff. This is probably going to be more akin to my complete saga stuff, where it mixes old parts with new parts. So in the file, these will probably be just replaced with flick fires at some point whenever I get this fully done. Because the other reason I'm making this video is because I have finally spent the time to digitize this into Studio and fix some of the issues that this prototype build had, and also just make some cool adjustments. So like I was able to finally figure out how to get these to stay on fairly well. If you do like put a ton of weight on, they will fall off still, but they're now doubled up with additional clip, and instead of needing, I think 6 originally, now you only need 5, and it looks pretty good. Let me get a slightly different angle so it looks a little nicer. I've also changed kind of how this works, how these side things are gonna look. So these containers are still going to be used, and there's gonna be 2 on the bottom, because I figured out I can replace these 2 parts on either side with one of them. I just haven't done that for that. That flick fire almost just went off the table. And then the top part will be replaced with one of these. So there'll be a decent amount of storage for just whatever you want to put on these. Continuing on, I've also addressed a couple of other things I wanted to fix with the prototypes. I made it so there's actually more room in here. So if I can grab that scout trooper with my other hand, you can actually stick a figure in here. And it doesn't unfortunately work with the scout trooper, but if you have like one of the like officer troopers with their different style hat, you can actually put a dude in here and then you can actually close it up pretty well and actually have him stay, because right now that guy's just moving around quite a bit. And another amazing feature that I came up with today to help rectify some inconsistency with how this is depicted in the comic book that it's from, where sometimes the nose of this top section is somewhat hanging over this other bit, and sometimes it's shown being pushed back. Decided to make a little rail system that utilizes just a little 1 plate gap. That is just enough for you can use some door rail parts, and they will hide on the inside, or they'll link into the inside of these plates and slide pretty well on the tiles. And you can get this really cool play feature of, you can show it in the different modes, or if you really want to, you can have it appear to be the recoil from using this main top gun. So I thought that was really cool. Glad to have added that feature. And that basically wraps up everything about this. In Studio, I also did fill in this area. I'm just not gonna bother doing that right now, because now it's in Studio and has all the upgrades, I can take this thing apart and reuse a lot of these large gray pieces for different mocks. And that will wrap up today's video. Thank you for watching. I really hope you guys enjoy this really cool and very obscure Imperial vehicle. Here's a couple different angles from a low profile to just get the vibe of how this looks compared to a minifigure for real. Let me see if I can get this door open. This is one of the issues I do have is these side doors are kind of annoying. And the other criticism I now have is using this new system where this thing can move back and forth means I can't use these plates to pop off and give you even more access to this interior. So the interior is probably going to be pretty lacking, and good luck trying to put a minifigure in there, but you can if you want to. This has been CloneCreatesClassics. Again, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye bye.